Hey guys, this is Mike with Aviation Training Foundation. So I just want to show you a few behind the scenes peeks at what we're doing. The place is a mess right now because we got so many projects. So behind me, these are electrical trainers for a 147 aviation maintenance school. So we're doing quite a few. Turn the camera around here, get you some idea of how those are coming together. So these are electrical trainers. This is not my area of expertise. It's actually my business partners. But this side here, each one of these switches will create a new fault, and then the student actually has to troubleshoot those faults by reading the schematics and using a multimeter going through each of the terminals to figure out where the fault lies. So there's all different types of trainers that are coming together. Here's some of the originals that were built in the past. So that one right there is a landing gear trainer. So this would actually manipulate your nose wheel landing gear, and depending on which direction it is indicating whether it's up or it's in its down position. So it's pretty cool. And then a lot of this stuff too, you actually you have a power supply that then goes in here and creates 24 or 28 volts, and then it'll light up your indicator lights and such. So these are all things that are used for the students to troubleshoot and learn. Now on the flight sim side, let's head back into the shop here. So I've got a custom unit here that I'm working on, this one in particular. So this is a Cessna 182. It's going to be built to mimic the customer's aircraft. And a lot of what we actually put into this one, the customer sent us. So this is a Redbird yoke and a Redbird TPM. We actually tore it apart, so you'll see some of the casings over there, and put all the hardware into the unit. So this one, I just about finished up all the wiring. I've got one or two things to do underneath, and then I got to put the back plate and the patch panel in. So this is actually part of what will be in the patch panel. So this is your power. So if I flip that on, you'll see everything on this side will come to life. There we go. Again, on the bottom here, I don't have everything hooked up at the moment, but we'll see there is glare shield lighting up underneath, and that is all on these dimmer knobs. Now this panel here is one of our older panels. We're moving towards a new design that's actually got extra switches for the Cessna 182/172. And with that, the potentiometers here will actually be built into the circuit board and done in a way that will manage lighting via software, which will be great because then we can integrate these things with the actual avionics. So in this case, I have the avionics dimmer actually on your glare shield lights here. So there is one, actually no, it looks pretty good. So I was going to say it looked like there was a little bit of an issue over here, but it's just the way that the strip is sitting. So this is actually Velcroed up underneath, which is real nice, and this is a upholstered glare shield. So that we do this in a variety of different packages. So some of it's upholstered, like you'll see these other units up here are also upholstered. And then we can do different types of stitching too, so different colors on the stitching, and that doesn't cost anything extra to do. And then if somebody just buys the basic unit, then it's non-upholstered. It's this ABS here, and then there's a nice black trim piece that goes up and around. So both are very, very nice. The upholstered units, even though we can do some custom orders and just add the upholstery and not do a full pro assembly package, but with that, we traditionally do a pro assembly package. So let me explain what that is. So the normal unit comes a little bit more like this one and a panel, or like this, and then we put the panel in for you, and that's it. And then there's a back plate right here. We'll put that in as well with just a couple of the screws that go in, and then you would be able to remove it and then put that back into place once you get all your hardware installed. Now, pro assembly package, a little bit more like what we're doing here. We actually install all of the hardware, we wire it up, we make sure everything is functional and tested. And then that includes a few, a few extra things. So that includes the vinyl upholstery and custom stitching if you decide that you want that. And then on the back side here, if I go inside the unit here, that includes a 16-port USB hub that's internally mounted, a power strip at the top that's also mounted, and over here on the left side is a 12-volt power supply that powers the Hobbs meter. That Hobbs meter is actually run through this little relay chip right here. So I'll zoom in just a little bit here. But this little guy is attached to the master battery switch. So if we come around here and I flip the master battery, so you'll see right now, sorry, I'm trying to get this to focus. There we go. So you see right now nothing's happening. All right, so if I come over here and I flip the master battery and then we come back, so you get that little indicator on the right side showing that it's ticking away at the time right now. Now I shut it off and it stops its rotation. All right, so that is all done through that relay on the back. So it's tied in with the jumper right here and then feeds all the way over to that little relay right there. This panel, again, older design, so the jumper we actually manually make, but it's very easy to remove and then just plug this right back into the board. But the newer designs will actually have that relay built into the PCB. Our newer Cessna 172 steam gauge panels, Pro Flight switch panel, those actually have the relay built in already. So a few other things I'm working on. I've got all of the wiring for the most part organized on the inside. The ELT, which is right up here, that is functional, and the pause button, and all that runs through this little Arduino right over here. The standby instruments, the knobs actually run off of this this Leonardo, and then the screens actually just run off of these this driver and the controls for that screen right here. This is all the same unit as the panel mounted unit that you would receive if you ordered that separately. The difference is we remove the faceplate and then we just use the aluminum as the faceplate. In terms of the yoke in this situation, we actually came up with a custom mount and mounted it straight into the table. Now let me talk about the table and the desk. So this tabletop is a stainless steel tabletop. It's a hard metal. It does have a wood insert underneath here in the middle, but the thing is extremely sturdy. And then the desk frame that we use is a height adjustable, motorized height adjustable desk, and it's made of steel. So it's very solid, and the controls are mounted right here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 1, and this will bring it back down to its normal position. I think I might have put my computer to sleep here. All right, trying to get the standbys to come back up. All right, well, it's not loading right now, but we'll fix that in a minute. So this is at its lowest position. Now we have a few other things that are coming into the picture with this unit. So once the customer gets it, we're going to be working on the pedestal next. Now let me talk about how everything's done underneath so that we can actually disassemble this for shipping purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and raise this back up, and in the meantime I'm going to go grab the pedestal that we currently have. Sorry, this place is a mess because we've got so many projects. So this right here is the pedestal that we were working on. Now this one in particular is just our prototype. We've made a few design changes since then, but that would actually mount right here, just like that. I'll lower that back down in a minute just to give you an idea how that looks, but let's get back over here. So up underneath, you'll see quite a few things. So let me get in the right position here. So here's your control box that controls the desk moving up and down. Right here are the two connectors that go to each of the motors. So you got a motor on this side, you got a motor on this side, and I ran the cabling up underneath here, attached to the steel frame and not attached to the tabletop. All right, so we can disconnect right here, and this little connection point. and that will disconnect everything from the tabletop and up from the bottom base. It's all separated. Now even the throttle quadrant right here, you'll see how we mounted that. So it's mounted to the base or to the tabletop here, and it clears everything else up underneath. So all we have to do is remove these 2 bolts right here, and we can remove the other 2 on the other side, and then this entire unit slides right off the table, or right off the frame. And the idea there is that we'll be able to then take the entire top and put it into a crate for shipping. And of course the frame too. Now these actually break down quite a bit too, so you'll see here some more frames here all broken down. So this will lay flat in the bottom along with some other parts, and then we'll have a shelf that the tabletop actually sits on, and then all the packing foam and everything else will go in there. So it does get shipped in a crate. All right, so let me go ahead and lower this back down here, and we'll get an idea of how this looks with the pedestal. Might have hit something because it wanted to come back up. Let's do that again. So this will sense if there's anything underneath it. So if it hits it and hits any resistance whatsoever, it'll lift back up. Or if you're lifting it and it hits resistance, it'll stop and lower itself, which is really nice. So now you'll see when I put this up to here that it's just a little too high. Again, this was our prototype. So we've made adjustments to actually lower this pedestal just a little bit from the bottom. We cut off some of the bottom. So the new ones are actually being cut here in the next week or so. But if I lift this up just a little bit so I can get this underneath, give you an idea of what that will look like. There you go. So that gives you some idea of how that would look. And we're also still working on our trim wheel solution here. I have a motorized trim wheel solution in the works, and then we're discussing some ways to make a non-motorized one. I'm actually doing that with Flight Velocity because he's looking for the same style of panels. And then our fuel selector goes down here, and then this area right here would actually be for cowl flaps, or if we didn't want the push-pull selector on the bottom, we could then put it in here. So I think it's a great solution once we get all the little kinks worked out. But yeah, that's a good inside look, I think, at some of what we're working on. This unit will have a 3 or a triple monitor mount, which will be bolted directly to the desk. That's getting ready to come up next. Just before that, I got to get the back panel on and the patch panel in place, and then all the stuff on the bottom will actually come up and plug into that patch panel. So once we get all those few things worked out this week, this will ship. I think there's anything else I can show you guys. Happy Labor Day, by the way. See, I'm the only one at the shop today. So for those of you that have ordered these multi-engine panels, I apologize for the long delay on these. We got them built, and then we kept running into different wiring issues. We have a new design for the circuit board, this white circuit board on the back. You'll see here we have to use a lot of jumpers to plug into the BBI 64. That's going to change. We actually have a shield that was created basically that this will then plug into, that then seats directly into this circuit board right down the center of all the switches. It alleviates all of the wiring, and that's where we're running into all of our issues right now. And I apologize. It's been a little hectic because of the amount of orders we had and the lack of staffing. We did solve the staffing issue, but now I'm just trying to get everybody up to speed. So we're still working through some of those issues. So we'll get those out soon. And then some of the other custom things that we do have going on. Some of you have seen it before. So the PC-12 overhead is another item we're working on. We did finish the main instrument panel, and we got the main instrument panel shipped, and we did get the what was it, main instrument panel along with the center that had standby instruments. So we got all that shipped out. Unfortunately, there was an issue with that screen, so I got to send him out a new one tomorrow. And then yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. You guys will see the place is really crammed right now. We're actually working out a deal right now for a much larger location. It's actually about it's got 4 bays in it, about this size. 3 of those bays will be for the actual workshop for the most part, and then 1 bay is going to be nothing but our showroom, if you will. So it's a work in progress, but yeah, if you got any questions, feel free to reach out. All right, guys, see ya.